This is the first time I'm doing an insight here. So, and it's actually the first time that I'm talking about the man in front of you, because if the insight is about getting to know me and my business, then I won't really be able to do justice without telling you about this man. Because if you know about this man, as you get to know me, it may make sense as to why I have been doing what I've been doing for the last 10 years. So, quick question. The man on the screen, hands up if anybody recognizes him, or just shout out his name if you know who he is. No? Okay, no problem. I'm going to stop the share a minute. Remember his face, and I would love to introduce you to the first distributor of Herbalife Nutrition. So the man on the screen is Mark Reynolds Hughes. He was born on the 1st of February in 1956 in California. His parents divorced when he was young, and his mum became probably a bit conscious about how she was looking and maybe how she was feeling, and she was turning to prescription diet pills. Now, sadly, through the divorce, Mark's mum moved them to the grandparents' house, so he was actually supported by other members of the family, so that was himself and his younger brothers. And his mum tragically died when she was only 36. I mean, when you think about that age, that's a really young age. And this was from an accidental overdose of the prescription diet pills and alcohol. So when his mum died, Mark's still young, he's a teenager. And he decided that he was going to dedicate his life to helping people to manage their weight safely. I do know people that have lost parents at a young age. Thankfully, I haven't gone through that experience myself, but if you put yourself into that position, you know, parents are divorced, so dad's not around, and then mum dies tragically, I can't say it. So Mark becomes involved in network marketing companies. And I think he was doing very well in one of those companies. He was actually a top earner in one of the companies, but that company actually ceased trading, and he wanted to carry on working in the industry. And I suppose, like any entrepreneur, he was looking at the things that he could do better in that industry. So he sourced an investor and a mentor, and this man became like a father figure in his life. So obviously his dad's not around. So this man becomes a father figure, and then Mark travels over to China to learn about Chinese herbal medicine and almost like how you can use herbs to help the body to heal and recover. And he actually mixed up his first formula. So that is our trademark formula, which we just describe it as Formula One, okay, because it was the first formula. And he founded Herbalife Nutrition. Well, it was called Herbalife International back then in 1980, and he's only 22 at this point. So Mark becomes the first distributor, and he's actually selling the Formula One in plastic bags from the trunk of his car, okay? I mean, again, to have the courage to kind of go up to a stranger and say, do you want some of this mix? And it's like white powder in a bag, you know? In the 80s, people might have been thinking it might have been other things, okay? And what I love about Mark is he introduced guerrilla marketing style methods into building his distributor base, okay? Now, I don't know if you can see this properly, but that badge says, lose weight now, ask me how. Now, I know other companies actually have their own spin on the ask me how kind of slogan, but what I'll say is Herbalife's been around since 1980. And that's been a slogan in the company. So that's my badge on. And Mark was talking, in one of his seminars where he's saying, oh, are we the crazy badge people? Because that's how we wanted the distributors to think, be the brand, use the products, wear your badge, and sort of talk to people. Now, in the 80s, people were laughing at you if you was walking. Even now, I do get a bit nervous wearing my badge sometimes, I'm not going to lie. But, walking around with a badge on, but that's guerrilla style marketing. And by 1982, Herbalife was generating over £2 million in annual revenues. So what he achieved, he's now 24, what he achieved in 2 years is absolutely incredible. Now, Mark actually does become a property investor as well. So as his fortune increases, he starts investing in property, and his portfolio at the time when he sadly died was estimated to be over $100 million. So he was buying some really luxurious property. So as I come to closing, there's three things. There's lots of things that I've learned from Mark Hughes over the years, but there's three things that he says that I seek to master in my own life. The first one is to follow a system from successful people. Okay. So as a Herbalife, I asked myself this question, 10 years. I've been doing this for 10 years. Like, why? Because one of Mark's other sayings is keep it simple. And I've loved that about what I've been doing. But another thing that he would say is everything is no problem. No problem. And as business owners, we know we get let down in different ways with customers, with suppliers, things don't work out. And I actually do say that, no problem. And that is something that Mark has passed on to his community. Another thing he said is consistency will be the cornerstone of my success. So it's true, we have to be consistent in everything that we're doing. Even if it didn't quite work, just keep going. Now, sadly, Mark passed away in the year 2000, but he actually achieved a legacy during the time of his creation of Herbalife and what is around now, 23 years later. I mean, now Herbalife Nutrition is an international business in 90 plus countries. It's actually a multi-billion-dollar company as well. So we're talking about serious money. But one of the things I love about what Mark did is he set up the Herbalife Nutrition Foundation, which is about us as distributors giving back to children to make sure that they are getting the best start with getting great nutrition into their system. And that particular charity actually serves nutritional meals to over 200,000 children around 56 countries. So, for me, there's so many reasons why I've been part of this movement. It is a global movement for over 10 years. But I was so impressed when I first came into the company to think that somebody of such a young age would have the courage to make a difference in other people's lives. Okay, unfortunately, he went through such a tragedy to be able to come up with what, to decide what he wanted to do with his life. But, it's just incredible what he has achieved and what the company has gone on to do. So that was a little story that I want to share. I've got 30 seconds left. And it was just because if I'm going to talk to you in the future about nutrition and other things, I really wanted you to know the foundation of where I'm coming from. So thank you very much.
Brilliant.